Hello, everyone. My name is Aya. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel, A Very Good Life. I am a feminine shaman and I assist people on their journey of initiation through their portals of initiation, development, growth, challenges. And we're doing a series of the sun right now. What flashed in my mind is my services. Just like tell them about your services. Trauma healing, foot reflexology, astrology, Reiki, divination, which on my website I call soul sessions. Thank you guys, all of you who sign up for sessions with me and work with me. I love working with you guys. I love helping you with your energy. That's what I'm here to do. So let's look into get into work with this sun at home in Leo, at home in the fifth house. Leos are the most generous, fun, childlike, creative, energetic people. They have energy for miles and miles, days and days, years and years. It seems like they never run out of ingenuity, ideas, and they can take on a lot of work, a heavy workload, to the point to where they can become workaholics. But we'll get more into that as to why that might happen. Let's look at a childhood, the initiation, the downfall. Hey, Quay. She says, "Hi, Aya. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for continuing this series and doing it live so that we can chat in real time. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, so we're going to be looking at, like, first we look at the childhood because the sun is about what you are becoming this lifetime and not necessarily like the ascendant in the moon. The moon would denote like the environment that your mother created for you in ritual, and it's kind of like your second skin and your emotional vibes. You know what makes you vibe out, and your ascendant would be like your soul energy, your second skin as to how you react to your that environment. And the sun is what you are initiating into this lifetime. So a lot of people get stuck in their shadow part of their sun, which is why people be like, I can't stand Leos and I can't stand Pisces. I can't stand. So if you're the type of person that kind of like focuses on like what you can't stand about people, then you're most likely in your shadow yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I call it shadow shaming. What we do to each other is we're all here to heal and love up on our shadow. Healing is about love. Healing doesn't mean you're crazy. Healing doesn't mean you're unlovable and you are to hide your face like, don't look at me. You know, like the man in the iron mask or the hunchback of Notre Dame. It's like, no, everybody has that inner hunchback of Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? So, and you learn to love up on it, and all of a sudden that back becomes straighter and more confident, and um, you have to know that your shadow is beautiful. That's how you really heal. Really, if you could look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful until you believe it, then you will probably succeed at living your life like you're beautiful or living a beautiful life. That's how that works. It's really that simple, but we make it really hard. The ego makes everything complicated. The sun is about the ego. Okay. So people with um, the sun and Leo, their childhoods often, I find, their downfall would be abandonment issues. A lot of times the father is not around, or I know some Leos that were in foster care system or they were adopted by other people, and they don't really have working or great relationships with their parents or one of their parents. Hmm. And I often find that there's a issue with the mother too, with Sun and Leo, like they're not believed in, and so Leos oftentimes feel like they have something to prove. I think about Jennifer Lopez. how even though she has achieved greatness, what have motivated her a lot of times is proving her mom wrong, because she said her mom used to tell her that her sister was the singer or the dancer, and she was just no, she said her sister was the singer and she was supposed to only be a dancer, right? And so a lot of times what motivates a Leo person is proving their parentals wrong. A dark-sided Leo would not be available for their own shine. Like they'll deny that they even want to shine. And I find this quite often with people who have their ascendant in Leo energy in their with their ascendant. They don't want to admit that they want to be famous. Now, fame in Leo, does that go hand in hand? Well, a lot of times Leos can be like famous in their community, famous for their personality or what they do and what they offer within their friendship group. They do have a propensity to have a light shone on them. It doesn't matter how big or how small that light is. They do need a lot of attention, and that's because they're also very generous. They're not the best at like giving other people compliments. I find a lot of Leos, not all, but a lot of Leos withhold their compliments, but they give gifts. They may not be the best at validating other people, because their shadow, a Leo in their shadow, they really truly want to be like the grand dame in their environment. Okay, they really truly do need a lot of attention, because they feel like they deserve it. They feel like they're the best. Like Leos are like the mushroom in Mario Kart. They're like, I'm the best. For a lot of Leos, it's insulting that they have to prove that to other people, or but they're willing to get it in the paint, but they have to admit that they actually want to be famous and not be ashamed of it, or that they have to admit that they need a lot of attention and a lot of compliments and not be ashamed of it, or else that part of themselves will go into their shadow and they'll end up taking that out most of the time in their romantic relationships or in relationships with their children. Unfortunately, and well, fortunately, Leo people are great parents on one end. Like when their children are small, they're really fun parents to have because they're really in touch with their inner child themselves. But a dark-sided Leo can um, have emotionally incestuous relationships with their children, especially like of the opposite sex, where they make their child the person that is there to give them validation and compliments. And that's the dark side of a Leo person. Or they can be pretty catty and territorial, not really wanting to share the spotlight. And they can kind of hold their family hostage to some of the wounds that they don't want to face. Since Leos like to shine bright, like for the best of who they are, they can make people kind of feel like they have to walk around eggshells around their psychological wounds that they refuse to. Oh, it's not like they're not aware of it, but they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about it. Not unless they bring it up. And so, if you're in relationship with a Leo person, you can often find yourself like walking around eggshells because you don't want. They're actually really sensitive. Their ego's very fragile, and they get their feelings hurt pretty easily. And so, it's a it's a double-edged sword with Leos. Like they can be the most generous people, the most affectionate people, people that are charismatic that you get addicted to being around and having fun with. But they can be like emotionally icy to where they're like they hmm it's like they love them and leave them type of energy. They like make you feel great when you're around, but they don't want you to like. That doesn't mean that you're friends. It's really hard to like understand. Like with, with Leo people, it can be like a real mind up. It can. Um, to where you're not allowed to say anything to them about anything that bothers you about them, necessarily, without like breaking the fragile intimate bond that you have, because it really bruises their ego, because they have a really big ego. Okay, they really only want you to compliment them on how awesome they are, which is the subconscious motivation for them being so generous and giving you gifts and making you feel good. It's kind of, if they make you feel good, you'll make them feel good, right? But if you're not into that type of codependent type of relationship, then they're not going to stay in that space with you for long. They really just truly want to be around people who don't call them out on much, don't make them face much. And I'm talking about the shadow Leos, the people, the Leos and who are living in their shadow energy. Okay, they can basically, I'm saying that they can become pretty narcissistic. Leo people can become pretty damn narcissistic, but they're still lovable at the same time because they are very hardworking and very generous. There's some of the most lovable narcissists in the zodiac. Because there's lots of benefits in having a Leo person in your life. Um, because they'll share they'll share everything they have with you. They'll give you the shirt off their back. They're the sweetest people, but just in intimate relationships, man, it can be a bummer for people who are looking for actual like real closeness and not just like okay. So the sun wants to be the best and shine the brightest. So a Leo is concerned about keeping that ego intact, and that would mainly include the image that they have to uphold in the public eye. So their families or children or whatever could possibly be props. And I'm not saying that they consciously think about this, but this is what happens when you don't connect with people emotionally and you only really care about like how you feel and keeping people away from your shadow, and only and kind of being stingy with your emotions, then you'll create an environment where people don't know how to connect with themselves. If you're like a caregiver, a mother or a father, and you're a Leo, like Leo parents, they oftentimes create people who don't really know how to connect with themselves and connect with life, or people who feel guilty for having emotions and don't really know how to express their emotions because they didn't see that modeled. But at the same time, the Leo will take care of everything and pay for everything. It's weird. It's weird. It's très bizarre. So what are you to do? What are you to do in those types of relationships? You know. And so I often see Leo people in relationships that aren't really great for them. I think about Holly Berry, Vivica Fox, who else? I said Jennifer Lopez already. Leo tend to be addicted to love. They will be addicted to the newness of relationships. They really truly are hopeless romantics. Why is it that these women seem like they can't sustain a relationship? Because your husband or mate, wife, your children are not your fans. No, that's the issue that they have in a relationship. You will get they'll get the hand clap and the applause, like Lady Gaga says, applause. You know, they'll get the applause from like their career and the things that they do in the outside world, and they love that, and so that will give them a propensity to be workaholics. They want the applause, right? But in real life, down to earth relationships, nobody is your fan. And so they might make those people around them not feel like they're as important or as worthy of their attention. You'll feel dispensable unless you're like somebody that is like their sidekick or something like that. It's not fair. It's very childish. But Leo's very childlike sign. The fifth house is the house of children. It's a house of creativity and sexuality. So, for a Leo to grow up, it's a beautiful thing to see because they can be like princesses and queens and kings. Like when they truly connect with their shadow and allow themselves to come down to earth with their humanness and their brokenness of feeling abandoned, feeling when they admit to the shame that they feel of not being wanted, not feeling desired by maybe a parent or parents that have abandoned them. Um, but as long as they don't admit to that, to those wounds, they're hell on wheels to be in a relationship with. But cool to work with though. Like I love me a good old Leo roommate because they take care of their end of the bargain. It's business, baby. It's all about business. I like that in a person. They take care of their business. You ain't got to worry about them not handling their business. They love handling their business. They take pride in that. They're very responsible people. Now, see, I how I look at astrology is from observation, right? So you guys can tell me your stories, what you see, and what you think, what you have heard. You know, um, yeah, everybody. Depending upon your soul tribe and what you've seen and what you've been through, you might see something different. Because I'm not seeing no comments here, so I don't know if you guys are agreeing with me or not. I have no clue. But yeah, Leos are a lot of fun on the surface, but intimate relationships, that's a hard mountain to climb because you just may not get to the promised land. You may not ever really reach the summit. You may not ever really feel like you really truly know them for real. It's a work in progress. Anybody have anything they want to say? Have any questions? If not, I'm gonna head out. Nothing. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today, and those of you watching back, I appreciate you. Like I said before, you can go to my website, which I have posted here, a fairygoodlife.com for any of my services. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace to you. Bye for now.